Hi, my name's Gavin. This is another video for the Hickory Golf Handbook, and now I'll be talking about the different balls that you might consider playing with your Hickory golf clubs. So the original golf ball was leather stuffed with feathers, and if you want to know more about those, then drop me a line and I'll point you to what I've been up to with regarding feathery golf. But actually in this video I'm just going to be talking about a little bit about gutta percha balls and wound balls. Okay, so up until 1899, the ball in use for every golfer on the planet really was the gutta percha, which is solid tree sap, and this is an original, and this is one that I hit last year, and consequently it's got like a very pronounced stripe pattern on one side. So there's a growing movement now for people playing gutter golf, and you can buy replica gutta percha golf balls. I actually have some original gutta percha, which is very difficult to get hold of, and but because it's so difficult to get hold of, actually the best thing to use for gutter golf is synthetic man-made gutta percha, and I have some here. This can be obtained online from various sources, and actually I think McIntyre Golf in America makes a very nice replica gutta percha golf ball. So this is just solid, and the flight characteristics of these is interesting, shall we say. A straight shot being the exception rather than the rule. But the vast majority of Hickory golfers just play with a modern ball, and I'll say right off the bat that probably the most common ball that Hickory golfers are currently playing with is Callaway Chrome Softs. Now, I've done lots of events, Hickory events in the UK, several hundred rental events. I've had thousands of people use my original 1920s clubs. And a common question is well, what ball shall we use? Quite frankly, I took a decision when I started my business in 2004, be it rightly or wrongly, use whatever ball you like. I don't really mind, because I didn't actually see one might say, more breakages. People tend to believe that a harder ball is going to lead to more breakages. I've not actually seen that over the years. Sure, I've had plenty of clubs break during my days. That's happens at every event, and I tell people that. But really, they can use whatever ball they like. So it's down to personal preference what make and model of ball you want to use. But what is actually quite interesting, and I'll put a link below in the comments, is going out and trying your Hickory clubs with an original 1920s ball. And these can be obtained for not that much money, and it really is quite an experience. Their durability is questionable. In fact, the first time I ever tried playing with an original 1920s ball, it disintegrated on the first shot. So yeah, be prepared that they might not be that great, but if you can get one for not much money that you think is in usable condition, I'd thoroughly recommend going out and trying it, and just actually truly experiencing what golf of the 1920s was like. But as an alternative, again, McIntyre Golf in the States, they make some very nice replicas with square mesh pattern on the surface. Again, the ones that I've tried, and I don't actually play with these myself, but the ones that I've tried, you get quite interesting flight characteristics, I would suggest. So the alternative is you actually get a modern ball, and you can overmold it. So this is, I don't know if it's got still the name on it. I think this was a Wilson. But anyway, I got a golf ball mould, actually an old one, and heated up the ball and then put it in the original mould and got something like this. So this has got obviously a modern core. It's a modern ball to all intents and purposes, but with a surface pattern of a gutty of the 1890s. Again, flight characteristics, very iffy, I found. The other option, some people go and find some balls from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 1.62 inches. I'm sure plenty golfers out there will recall, if they're at least older than myself, playing with imperial sized balls. And yeah, I've tried it a few times, and you think, how did the likes of Jack Nicklaus get the 260 plus yards out of these balls? They really, as I said to somebody, it just feels like hitting a wet sponge to me. And this was a pristine Dunlop 65 that I'd unwrapped, so it was technically in new condition. Maybe it had degraded over the years, but actually I think it was probably just showing the differences between balls of the 1970s and balls that are manufactured today, or certainly since sort of Surlyn covers came in the 1990s. So yeah, that's your options really. So the bottom line is you can go and get some replica balls, some replica gutties, some replica 1920s balls, or just play with a modern ball of the brand of your choice. I'll just say a little bit more about that. So yeah, as I said before, I don't think it leads to more club breakages. A question I'm still not actually convinced is whether it actually leads to more face wear. Some people say don't use a hard ball with a hickory wood, for example. Again, I've not actually noticed that much more instances of excessive face wear from using something like a Top Flight XL or a nice soft noodle ball that you might have come across at some time. So yeah, I'd say go and use whatever you fancy. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, please send them to me or put them in the comments below. Bye.